Live from London, this is BBC News and welcome to viewers on PBS in America. The headlines: world leaders begin arriving in Japan ahead of the annual G7 meeting, with security in the Indo-Pacific top of the agenda.
Hiroshima, a city once devastated by the atomic bomb, hosts the G7 summit at a time of increasing instability in the region as the war rages in Ukraine. Parallels are being drawn between Russia's actions in Europe and what a belligerent China could do here in East Asia.
Rival accounts are emerging about a reported car chase involving Prince Harry and Meghan and paparazzi in New York. Another night of explosions across central Ukraine, with Kyiv coming under missile attack for the 9th time this month. Parts of northern Italy remain on high alert as severe flooding forces thousands of evacuations. Hello, I'm Vishala, Sri-Pathma. We start in Japan, where leaders of the G7 group of some of the world's richest nations have started arriving in the city of Hiroshima ahead of Friday's summit. This is the moment less than an hour ago when President Biden stepped out of Air Force One onto a rather wet runway at Iwakuni Airport. As well as the international agenda, he'll have to keep an eye on the political row over the government debt repayments back home, with the possibility of default if his Democrat Party can't reach agreement with the opposition Republicans. Now, one of the first to get there was the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who we're seeing on our screens with his wife there. Top of the list for the leaders is the war in Ukraine and whether to increase sanctions on Russia and on China, which, like Russia, is not in the G7. They'll discuss insulating their economies by diversifying supply chains and markets. Mr. Sunak's announced that new defence and economic links between the UK and Japan, including a total of £18 billion of investments by Japanese businesses in the UK, which is around $22.5 billion.
Well, it's great to be here in Tokyo to start my trip to Japan. And the first stop is the Yokosuka Naval Base, where we are now. That's because we're announcing